Okay, we are back for another Solforge draft. I believe this is our 15th. We always seem to get Restless Wanderers. Again, it's got mediocre stats, but it's almost never going to trigger its ability, so it's generally just those stats in draft. Root Forged Avatar, I'm not too big on. Sometimes I'm going to just try and force it just for fun. Spirit Flame Mystic, Dreadbolt, Battle Droid are probably the three most powerful cards. Photobomb's okay. I could draft it for fun, see how it goes, but it's never going to be as good as it could be in constructed. Mystic's okay. The stats are fine, but you really need to trigger its ability to get happy with it, or to be happy with it. Dreadbolt's okay removal, but again, I don't like taking creatures this early. Battle Droid, have mixed feelings about. The stats are a little bit low. It's very vulnerable to Necrium removal. However, I want to see how good Battle Droid is if you have a bunch of Uteran pump spells. So I think I'm actually going to force Battle Droid this time and try to go Utera or something else that has pump spells just to see how good it gets. Might be worth it, might not. There are new Utera cards here, so I can't hedge. Toxic Spores, of course, is Utera. Light Shield Patrol is my favorite of these cards, especially since I know I'm taking pump spells. Sparkblade Assassin has reasonable stats. It's very good at level 2, one of the best creatures at level 2. But I think right here what I'm actually going to do is, because I feel like forcing Alloyin Uteran on a whim, I'm going to go ahead and take Toxic Spores here just to make sure I get that. So, this way we should be able to see our pump spells we want, and we can take cards that go well with both. Cadaverous Thicket, for example, it goes well with pump spells because it is reasonably likely to trade with anything at level 1, or anything at its own level. And a pump spell means that it will get to most likely survive that trade so that it can get additional poison onto whatever else enters the lane next. Bramblewood Guardian stats mean that it sticks around for a bit, so you're more likely to be able to get pump on it. However, Gemhide Basher is pretty reasonable removal, and it's on a creature, which makes me like it more. Okay, these are cards that I don't like. Energy Surge, increasingly I am cold on. I don't like wasting a play in order to get benefit later. I have much more preference for things that actually level up cards I can use, because you'll be able to draw more things, but you'll have less leveled cards in your deck. I'd much rather play even a spell like Metascythe that just levels things, because at least I'm going to have more leveled things in my deck. So this doesn't increase consistency as much as like that does in my book, because I'd rather have more high-leveled things. So it's a question of Ghost Scale Cobra as a blocker that I will sometimes play to get poison on something, which is worse removal than like Toxic Spores or Gemhide Basher. Or something like Photobomb, just in case I get things that cause it to be useful. Like Photobomb Roar would be good. Especially since we're not Necrium, there are less ways to make Photobomb useful. I think I'm going to be disciplined and take the Cobra here just because I'm more likely to actually want it. Alright, Vault Technician is perfectly fine stats. Hoping to get some of those pumps. We don't have any of the super strong late game cards, so I don't need Alpha necessarily to help get to that late game. So it's between Vanguard, Thicket, Conscripts. Vanguard has a good enough body that it's good. There's a chance that it could be triggered, and it does benefit well from pumps. Alright, as we saw in Grove Matriarch, in the last draft, Grove Matriarch is very solid. Steel Shaper is the worst of the savants, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to have more Utera than Alloyin. Either way, it won't be favored in the Alloyin side that heavily, I doubt. Spring Dryad is fine. I'm, again, cooler on it than many people. I prefer Delver, for example. And Spitter is something that's nice, but I like having one of it. But Grove Matriarch is just a very good, strong, fairly top-tier card. Anyway, Sparkblade Assassin is nice to have at level 2. I think it's enough better at level 2 than any of these others as we're just having. All right. Forge Blade Sentry, or Forge Plate Sentry, sorry, is a card that does level up well. It also benefits very well from the pump spells that we hope to pick up. Bright Tusk Sower is a very good card, but I think that Forge Plate is slightly better, especially because we intend to pick up pumps if we're able to. All right, another Assassin is fine. All right, Technosmith is a card that I favor very highly, as is Grove Huntress. The question is Enrage better, enough better, or should I take the Huntress as a kind of hedge in both directions? I think I'll actually take Huntress. Enrage is good. I'm likely to be able to pick one up later, but Huntress is a good way to, have my cake and eat it too. I can pump things like Battle Droid without wasting a play on it. I'll at least get a body as well. Lightburn Cleric is a card I like a lot. However, I'm going to keep taking Huntresses because they follow the same plane very well. Similarly, Warden is a very, very good creature. We do only have one 6-power creature. However, I think I'm going to take another Huntress here just to focus on the battle plan. Metamind Adept is the best way to increase our odds of drawing the Battle Droid. I think I'll go ahead and take Sparkbot here just because it has reasonable stats and it can have a decent chance of trading. Alright, Forge Guardian Beta is another good creature that is a win condition in the late game that benefits well from all these pumps we're getting. So far we're just getting the little pumps from like Huntresses, but that can get pretty far, so that's good. Ravager is a solid creature. Feral Instinct is an okay pump spell that is good to have late game to finish out a game. I think I'll go ahead and take the decent creature for now, though. Alright, this is kind of a tough pick. Nexus Pilot is a very strong creature, even a turn late. And the Enrage is something that I definitely want for this deck. Because we have at least a couple of small pumps, I think I'm going to take the Nexus Pilot. We are really thin on high attack creatures at level 1. So Nexus Pilot does fulfill that very well, as does Vault Technician. So we're feeling a little bit better about that. The Guardian is definitely better than Nexus Core. Sower is the best of these creatures. Definitely favor pumps over things that shrink. The strength in numbers is tempting, although we don't have that many things that create multiple bodies. Let's see. Yeah, we have one Bright Tusk Sower, not two. And we have one Grove Matriarch, so that's not a ton. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Technician here over the strength in numbers. Although, the creature that gets armor when it has a high enough attack would have been reasonable there. Alright, Tower Vanguard is fine. Since we've got double Vanguard, I'll try and keep an eye out for a way to give armor. Alright, here is a very good Enrage. That's definitely what I wanted. Ravager's fine. We have a relatively aggressive deck. Like, all of our creatures we don't have anything that's too amazing. However, our creatures benefit very well from just having decent stats at most levels. We don't have an endgame finisher to really try and pump out with Technosmith. So I think I'm going to take War Charger over Technosmith here. It's got more of our game plan of just good stats, try and win in the mid-game by having good creatures that are hard to deal with. And some of these value cards like Huntress. Alright, Moss-Beard Patriarch would also be okay with like our Guardian and our Matriarch and our Vanguards, but I think War Charger is probably enough better of a body to be worth it. Okay. Here's the reality check, because Scrapforge Titan is very, very good, obviously. It does go very well with our pump spells. Even a level 2 Titan with a pump on it becomes quite reasonable. However, Forge Plate Sentry is better at its first 2 levels. So the question is it worth taking Sentry or going deep on the Titan? I think I'm going to go for the Titan just so that we have something that's kind of a win condition on its own. Okay, Aegis Conscripts is very nice with our double tower Vanguard. That makes those cards much better. Okay, we spent the whole time drafting a deck where, at least past level 1, all of our creatures are just fairly solid. That's very, very good with Battle Tactician. Battle Tactician is one of the best possible cards in draft, so it's nice to have. Ether Hounds is a reasonable creature, although it, isn't amazing at any level. Aegis Pulse is good specifically with Technician. With Vanguard. We don't have that many spells, so I think I'm actually going to take the Aegis Pulse here. There are a lot of times where it is nice to just have 2 bodies to block things that are almost dead. I think I will go ahead and take the Ether Hounds. So we'll be back in a minute with our round 1 of our draft. I definitely would have liked at least one more pump in this deck, but it seems reasonable. We'll see how it goes.